The Labrie side-loading refuse body is a great setup, but unless you've got it on top of the right chassis, it doesn't mean a whole lot. This week, that's what we're going to dive into. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, it's Josh with Premier Truck Sales and Rental, and thanks for tuning back in this week. I'm excited, well, kind of as always, but this week we are talking about the chassis on this Mack LR64R truck that is sitting under the Labrie side loader refuse body. Now, in this, we did a really deep dive into the chassis when we talked about the front loading setup. So we're not going to dive as deep into all the components, but we definitely want to make sure that we give you a good overview so that way you know what you're looking at. As we take a look at the front suspension setup here, everything is structured so that way we can achieve that 20,000 pound weight rating. We've got the wide base tires, we've got the heavy duty axle and spring. That way, you're not going to have to worry about being overweight on this truck. Something else that we do is we add the Alcoa wheels to this. It's an aluminum wheel. It saves you a lot of weight, especially when you add it up over 10 times throughout the truck. We've got the M870 Bridgestone tires up front here, which are a great long-lasting tire that give you good traction too. With them being the wide base, that's part of how we achieve that 20,000 pound front axle rating. So just one step back behind the front axle, in fact in a lot of cases right on top of it, we've got the Mack MP7. 355 horsepower, 1,650 foot-pounds of torque is more than enough to get this down the road. Now on top of that, there's quite a few design features in that engine that make it so it is a great fuel miser. It's just gonna pull a couple of gallons out at a time. And it's pulling it out of an aluminum tank, which is just on the other side. As I mentioned before, we have a deeper dive on that in the previous video. Now, all that power, that's connected to that Allison 4500 RDS. And I'm pretty sure if you've watched any of our other videos, you've seen that one coming. It is the transmission for applications like this, bar none. Since you know about refuse trucks, you know where they go and you know the conditions that they have to deal with. So you know that's a double frame. And here we are already at the back end of things. 23,000 pounds each, so did the math, carried the one, 46,000 pounds total. This is the Mack top loader style rear end, which has proven to be unbelievably durable, which is exactly what you need in a truck like this. The start, stop puts a ton of heat in a rear differential, and these deal with it like no other. Smoothing out the ride and making sure that everything stays up in the air, we have on this truck the Mack Camelback Suspension. Now, I've referenced the other video before. If you want a really bad dad joke about how durable this is, definitely go check that video out. The theme with this overall is the durability that is built into the chassis. We have years of experience in putting these trucks together, and we know the type of abuse that they're going to face. Downtime is the most expensive thing that you will ever have. So we do everything that we can to make sure that you're never going to have to deal with that issue. That being said, we've covered the cab, the chassis, the engine, the transmission, all those items. Next week, we really dig into the meat of this truck. We are going to talk about that Labrie body. I'm excited to get into it. We've got a lot of great demos and details that we're going to bring out about it. So make sure you're subscribed. If you got a question, put it in the comments. You know my things about the thumbs up. As always, I'll see you guys next week. Stay safe out there.